Peace and love, family. Welcome to another powerful discussion with your sister, Dr. Ma'at. I know you all are looking at the time right now and you're like, oh my goodness, it's 10:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you know your sister is usually in the bed at 8:30. But family, I had to tonight come on and address the foolishness that's happening in the so-called pro-black community. It's foolishness. And so it was brought to my attention. And, I'm not going to start any he said, she said, I heard, you heard. But it was brought to my attention that there were some folks banging on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Now, you all know that Dr. Ma'at has been an advocate for STEM, for the past several years. Shout out to Brother Uncle Cat, who brought me into the community and encouraged me. He said, "Wait a minute, you're lame," because I was doing the history. I want to do the history and African history and culture. And he was like, "Nah, nah, 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 nah. What you get your degree in again?" I said, "I got a doctorate in electrical engineering." He was like, "Nah, nah, nah. This is what you need to do. You need to use that." But he said, "This is what I want you to do. I want you to begin to teach engineering from an African centered perspective, right?" So he started me on that path. And then you all know that I'm vocal about that. And so ever since then, that's been my lane. And folks who know me know that I'm a huge advocate for STEAM education. I always say STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art. And I do a double A. I say art, agriculture, and mathematics. And I think those are the disciplines that are needed when we're talking about nation building, right? When we're talking about nation building. So, anyway, there's some folks, and shout out to the Black Power Media, Dr. Jared Ball and Geechee Ya and Baba Diallo over there. They made some comments about STEM that made me feel uncomfortable. And so I had to run and go get the pseudo killer. So shout out to Brother Uncle Cat, Miss Tiffany, Sister Juju. Peace and love to you. How you doing tonight?
What's going on? Let the sister speak first.
Ashe.
I'm doing awesome, Dr. Mayat. I always refer to you as my sis. You be doing
Yes,
big things
absolutely.
out here in the world. And thank you for having us. That's all I want to say.
Thank
I'm excited, and we definitely got that source up. So we source up around here, and we gonna show some things.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedules. It's a Friday night. You all could be with your families, but you agreed to come on and to address this nonsense, actually, because it's actually nonsense. The stuff that was that was said, in my opinion. But the reason why I want to get it addressed or want to address it is because it's out here in the public domain, right? And so, with these microphones, we have to be really careful with the things that we say because people hear you and people, they believe you, they follow you. Miss Tiffany, thank you so much for coming on. Peace and love to you, Queen. How you doing?
Peace and love to you too. I'm happy to be here with you all, and I look forward to a great discussion. And I saw some of the clips beforehand, and wow, that's all I can say.
Mm-hmm. So, brother Onk.
I, you know, I think highly of Morgan State University. I always have. I appreciate the school being in that community, first of all, because I'm born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. And I just was a little perturbed when I heard that the pushback against STEM, like it was some rhetoric from the 1930s. Like it makes no sense. We're in a space age, and as we are in a space age, we need to prepare our babies to be ready for the space age.
Absolutely.
And the thing that put the Africans, you can go to the book one in UNESCO, okay? They talk about Africa and the raw. They talk about how we led the world in technology for the first million years, okay? So even before Homo sapiens sapiens, those Africans, Homo habiligensis, Homo gastar, they led the world in technology. So in 2024, for brothers and sisters to make the statement that STEM shouldn't be this and that and just the liberal arts, it's ridiculous. All organized communities on high levels, they practice STEM and the liberal arts. Last time I checked. So to make a person have to choose makes no sense. What we do is we take a good look at the community and we see what they need. And like I know, based off your website, you got the numbers. We're not lagging behind in liberal arts. We're lagging behind in STEM and technology. Oh, by the way, which is the foundation of any tradition that you find on planet Earth. Homo sapiens sapiens had to find and deal with food, clothing, and shelter and protection of that before they read any biblical text, before they read any papyruses of Nun, before they did any of that. You have to function off of having enough food stores. And anybody in basic understanding understands this, that once you get enough food stores, then you can lay back and say, well, maybe I'm gonna try to invent some writing. But you ain't trying to invent no writing when your stomach is empty, right? When your villages is constantly getting attacked because you are not up on par with the villages that are attacking. So for me, ridiculous statement, out of order, out of control, and blackology at high level degrees.
Absolutely. And brother, first of all, I want to say I agree with you 1,000%. And secondly, I want to say this. I don't think that our people, and I'm talking about people who think like that, are serious about nation building. You always hear, we're going to build a nation of our own. We want to be independent. You can't be independent without science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. You can't even, what are you building? So these folks that say we want to build, what are you building, like you said, without STEM in the 21st century? Sorry, in the 21st century, in the digital age, in the age of technology. What are you building? And another thing, when you and I were on the telephone, I remember laughing when I called you about this. And I said, oh, they talked about ideology. And I said, well, what came first? Was it the 42 principles of Ma'at, or was it the stone tools? Right? And you said the stone tools 3.5 million years ago. I think you said 3.5 million years ago, 3.2 million years ago. The stone tools. What came first? The stone tools or Iwa Peli? So again,
That's a good
again,
point.
you
Talk
know,
to
so
him.
so again, just to to back up, what Ankh is saying, to support what he's saying, we had to make sure our basic physiological needs were met before. I mean, think about Maslow hierarchy of human needs. At the bottom of the pyramid, you have what? Your physiological needs: food, clothing, and shelter. Then at the top of the pyramid, you have the apex, which is self-actualization. You cannot self-actualize without your basic physiological needs met. So I agree 1,000% with what you just said, Brother Ankh. Sister Juju, Miss Tiffany, what are your thoughts?
Um, so I'm a caveat about what you said, and it's important for STEM. So I was just thinking about one of the running things, especially in these Pan-African spaces, right? Is agency, controlling our resources and whatnot. But you can't have an non-expert to do that, especially some of these resources in Africa, like how we're going to extract them, how we're going to handle them safely, right? And to have training in STEM, that's what you can learn. Um, and some of the sources I wanted to show was like Ames. So I think it's funny because I find that the African Americans, I feel like we are moving backwards, right? We're trying to move back to the Stone Ages, but on the continent, a lot of them Africans are trying to get into STEM. They
Yes,
want
they
the
are.
best of the best because they want to move their tribe, their towns, their countries. They want to move forward, right? So you see a lot of STEM activation happening on the continent in different countries, in Kenya, in South Africa, in Ghana, in Senegal. And if you all in the audience haven't seen the Star Chasers of Senegal on PBS, which is free, just go to YouTube and type Star Chasers of Senegal. That movie is fabulous, and what's fabulous about it is that's a Black Senegalese scientist that assisted NASA on a project that's happening as we speak. So I found that conversation to be very cringe. It goes, if we're standing on the shoulders of our ancestors like Booker T. Washington,
Teach,
Dr.
teach.
Shereen Wright, and everything he did as far as a teaching model, that would be incorporated as far as STEM.
Absolutely.
We need those disciplines that are going to help us have agency, one, and to build, like you said. So I didn't understand it at all. I was baffled. You already heard me in the back, but I'll land it there for now.
Miss
Yeah,
Tiffany.
yeah. When I was listening to the clip of, I guess the gentleman's name is Diallo, and he was just making these statements about how it's better for students in the community to lean in on the the humanities or the liberal arts as opposed to the sciences, because individuals who go into the STEAM careers somehow they lack some type of the right ideology, or I guess a mindset, and that these particular careers could be used as a weapon against our community. Or and I just it was I'm baffled. So I looked up STEAM careers. You have architects, statisticians, engineers, software developers, actuaries, biologists, data sciences, environmental science, physics, all of these different fields. And I don't understand why anybody in this day and age can actually make statements like these types of fields and industries, our community, is better off without them. Or to his credit, he did say, we can't make it with STEAM alone. But the rhetoric was more unique, more liberal. People studying liberal arts. I just don't get it. I'm confused.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was confused. You know, I was confused. And thank you for the heads up in the chat. They was like, Dr. Midas says save black people. It's supposed to be save black people. So anyway, family, I'm gonna share the clip.
Say black people.
Say,
What?
I had said say instead
I
of
know, I
save.
know. Say black people. What the hell is going on?
Don't you better not, Bobby Banger.
Here we go.
2023, boy.
Play that clip.
There they
Here's
go,
the clip.
boy. Educators too, aren't they? Aren't they actually
I
educators?
know one of them. Dr.
At the
Bald.
bottom?
He teaches in the School of Journalism at
At the
Morgan
top,
State.
right there with the light skinned guy.
Yeah, this brother right here.
Ah,
So
he
here,
played too much. They all off on the pseudo need more holistic. Like knock it off.
here we go.
Like
Malik, Steven, everybody, appreciate
Welcome,
y'all
welcome,
coming in.
welcome.
Welcome, AJ. Shout out to the 20 twin.
Peace.
Appreciate you for that. So starting with Brother Chris. Brother Chris, I think Diallo, you probably highlighted this. How are STEM studies, robots, and etc. going to help Black folks in the ghetto?
I don't remember who said this. When you don't control your community, everything in your community can be used as a weapon against you.
Oh yeah.
And I've never
Jacob
been a
Carruthers?
fan of STEM. As someone who has studied, and received a certificate.
Let me pause right here, Unc. He said he never been a fan for STEM, but he's on YouTube. I just want to say he's on YouTube. He's on a computer, right? Or he's on his cell phone.
Right.
He drives a car. He jumps on airplanes.
All things.
He's using a microphone. He's not a fan of STEM. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Okay.
In the STEM arena, and someone who's worked both in the liberal arts or the soft sciences and taken, radium physics and STEM classes and worked in a STEM field. It doesn't fucking matter. It's not going to help the community, because if your ideology isn't.
Question, the reason we were enslaved, right? The Africans were enslaved. It was because the Europeans had superior technology. Wasn't it the gun? Wasn't that a part of it? The technology, didn't that play a role in our enslavement and colonization? Didn't technology play a role in that?
Yeah, it did. As a matter of fact, the technology first of all, they had the technology to make it to where they made it to with the intercontinental ships, right? That's not the mistake that the Egyptians had sailing vessels too, but we're talking about oceans, you know what I'm saying? Like the Atlantic Ocean. And second of all, the technology kind of got better, because when they first came in with the muskets, that wasn't better than the spears or the rock thorns. So there are accounts of Europeans coming in with guns and getting beat down because they had to, you shot one time, pow, you reload and you got about 30 spears in you. But their technology actually got better. So yes, it was the technology that actually, at the end of the day, put us at a disadvantage. Absolutely.
Okay, I was just curious. Okay.
Right. It doesn't matter if you have a high level STEM degree or if you're a high school dropout. The ideology is more important. And also, this problem with STEM is that it lacks the component of philosophy, ethics, and history. So with the so-called soft sciences or the liberal arts are extremely important because you don't want scientists, engineers, mathematicians in this world that have no grasp of history and how history has unfolded. No concept of identity, culture, and more importantly, ethics. The ethics of their field, which have been pretty much purged from steam, and where the reactionary right is out here saying, don't even go to college, and they want to shut down and make college inaccessible and say, well, unless you're going to be a doctor or an engineer, what's the point in going to schools? And I've even been when I was in Brooklyn College pre-med program, where the med students were upset that they had to take botany and they had to take the humanities and music appreciation because they just were like, let me get these credits, go on to medical school and make big money. And you don't want someone like that responsible for the well-being and healthcare of your community. So the liberal arts are more about cultivating your intellect, are as important as cultivating your intellect than technical skills and technical know-how. So STEM isn't going to do shit for us.
I just looked at your face. Did you want to chime in?
What are we talking about? Like we can't chew gum and walk at the same time. It's not thought out. It's shrouded in complete ignorance of understanding who our people really are, man. Like we did the liberal arts, right? We do the science. We do all things that functioning civilizations do. And all of a sudden we should take a back seat to STEM. That makes no sense. Like come on. And thinking that because you're doing STEM, all of a sudden you're void of history. All my children are well educated. I got one going to college right now. She's been accepted, right?
Beautiful.
Pre-med, right?
Beautiful.
And she can talk that talk about African history, African American history. My daughter, right? She's in her last year, getting a degree in biology, right? She likes studying oceans and all that, all kind of stuff. So that's not real. That's a 1940 message. That's not legitimate. It's not what real African Americans do.
What I found interesting is that he's talking about. Didn't he say he was in medical school or?
No.
No, he said he got a STEM certificate.
Oh, okay. So, well, he had the opportunity to explore these things, and it's just I don't know. It's like you're sitting from a place of almost a little privilege because you've had the opportunity to explore it, but then you're shaming other people out of having that same opportunity.
Right.
And
Very
when
true.
you're in school, they usually have you take certain classes that you can't just take any type of classes. You have to take a mixture of things. So
Right.
that assumption that I mean, we all remember what it was like to be in college. We all had our ideas about what we wanted to do or not, but it's set up a certain way so that people do have some type of ethics as they're going through life. And Dr. Maya, you're in this field. Would you say that the field of STEM and STEAM is void of ethics? I know there's
Not at all.
right.
Not at all. And I got some slides that I'm going to prove that. Not at all. Is not void of ethics at all.
People fight all the time to make sure that the ethical components in these fields are maintained. So
Absolutely.
Facts. Yeah. That was pure techno babble. Google if y'all know what that means.
Yeah, that's
that was wild. And those courses you're talking about, Miss Tiffany, are called electives. And I know most of my electives, I chose classes that had a historical context, actually, even though my discipline was bachelor's of science. You feel me? And then let's talk about so again, this is funny because these are supposed to be like, top-notch Black power, part of the Panthers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
Garveyites. They talk about Pan-Africanism. Come on.
Exactly. I know Diallo has that connection. You feel me? So what I'm trying to understand. So is he saying that our children not being taught in school the proper history? Because if that's the case, then last week y'all was saying how we need to teach our children this and that. So I just find it very contradictory, because I feel like a lot of times it's up to other spaces where we can teach our children certain things about our history that may not get in school. And it's not the school's job to teach every bit of just African American history. That's not how it works, right? So
agree.
I find that a bit contradictory, unrealistic. Yeah, technobabble.
And again, we all are going to need to visit a hospital, a dentist at some point in our life. We have to, most of us get regular checkups. So wouldn't it be nice to have more of our children within our community following these fields? And why would you discourage that? It's
Exactly.
wild to me.
Yeah.
It's on purpose. I think it's actually on purpose because we keep bringing forth that old rhetoric, and it's and you'll hear people say, "Well, we not free," and that's disrespect to those who had shackles on their legs, things around their neck, so they couldn't escape, and we're not free. That's bananas. It,
Right.
it took high level black thinkers, right? Thurgood Marshall, Martin Luther King, okay, to actually go challenge the Supreme Court to get the thing together to challenge. And by the way, the Supreme Court was full of white people last time I checked, right? So it took masterminds of law, okay, to actually do that. So we seen it happen. Now we need to take advantage of it. To keep acting like we not free, you only free. You're not free if you think you're not free, right? At this point, the shackles are on the mind. And it's statements like that show the shackles are on the mind.
Correct. I saw a comment in here. I don't know if you want to put it up from Cop MDJ. Talking about what he thought Diallo is saying is to emphasize ideology.
Okay.
Since
Here we
too
go.
often science professionals are reactionary.
Said what?
He said that he think Diallo is to I think, like she said, to emphasize ideology, since often science professionals are reactionary. I don't think science professionals
Me
are
neither.
reactionary
They're actually
at
proactive.
all. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
about to say they're very proactive.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know where you're
I
getting
like
at and what ideology. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Because certain ideologies are not necessarily up to the school or college to teach that. So I think it's to the point of being unrealistic. You got to compartmentalize.
Wait a minute. First of all, I got my other daughter's thing all wrong. She was peeping in. She's like, "What? It's computer science. What's wrong with you?" So she's almost getting a degree in computer science.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
One
Okay.
in pre-med, one in computer science. I'm tripping. She switched it up on me. I must have missed that memo.
So
But
okay, let me correct.
but watch this. You know what I'm saying? As I said in Georgia University of Georgia, right? I seen a lot of non-black people getting degrees in agriculture. Wild. Listen
Right.
to me. From different countries, from India, from
Right.
Japan, okay, China, right? I didn't see many of us get degrees in that. So that's part of STEM too. Last time I checked, agricultural science,
Yep.
okay, is science. Like, I'm just like, are we tripping or something? I think sometimes, man, we get to talking and looking ourselves in the mirror and we done and Kruger. We actually think we better than we are, right? We think we better than what we are, and we present a message to the people thinking we better than what we are. That's not real. That's not a realistic message at all. We can chew gum and walk at the same time.
No, I agree. I agree 1,000%. But you remember they threw tomatoes at me when I came on your platform, and I said I do a double A for STEAM. I do art and agriculture. They said they said agriculture ain't a science. Remember they
Yes,
threw the
it is.
tomato at me, and look,
It's
I
a
had to hit
real
him.
science.
I had to hit him with George Washington Carver. I said you need to go
Exactly.
do your research with George Washington Carver. That was agricultural science. That's what he was doing. Come on, man.
Why do you only talk about the peanuts that he supposedly prayed to talk to him? They always throw us off the STEM trail.
Right.
They don't talk about how serious that man was in
Oh
the
yeah.
books. But they talk about how he got up early in the morning, he looked at the plants and he talked to him and he told him what it was.
They say that.
No. That was him understanding plants and how they operate based off of the studies, based off of the high level degree that man had. That's why he understood those plants. Not that he looked at him and talked to him. That might have been a byproduct of just having fun. Anyway, that's what they give us, though.
What did they think agriculture was, Dr. Maya?
I think they just thought, I don't know, throwing some seeds in the ground and just put some water on it. I think that's what they honestly honestly thought, because they were like, that's not a science. Tear me up in the comment section. That's not a science. You up there adding a double A. That ain't no science. I was like, wow.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all familiar with The Boy Who Hunts the Wind?
You
Y'all
put me on
familiar
with
with
that
that?
movie. You put me on with
See?
that movie.
I want y'all to look at that. This goes out to the brothers that produced that podcast, just talking. They just was talking, right? I want y'all to go look at The Boy That Hunts the Wind. Okay, now you tell me, was it liberal arts to save the village, or was it? It was none of these things, man. This man went, his family couldn't afford to send him to school no longer. Why? Because it was an actual drought in their village. I'm just gonna give you the basics. It was a drought in their village, so they couldn't afford, they couldn't make, the family couldn't make the same money they was making, right? Couldn't grow the crops and sell them, make no money no more. Yields was low, and they was fading down the stretch, right? And the father was a Muslim. He was like, we're gonna stand by, we're gonna work with it. Allah gonna be grateful. And so the young boy, he went and stole some books. Went in there. No, he didn't steal the books. He went in the books and he just kept reading them. And they was like, okay, I'm gonna let you take the books. You're not supposed to be here. And he learned how to actually make a wheel, right? And
Wow.
he needed a bike, right? He needed a wheel so he could turn it. Okay, all right. And so he could generate electricity. He learned how to took some parts, put it all together,
That's how
right?
you.
And realized, okay, we'll make a thing that grabs the wind.
Yeah.
Instead of us trying to pellet all the time, windmill, right? We're gonna use that, and we're gonna be able to get the water out the ground and bring it up and put it on the crops, because they couldn't get the water out the ground, Doc.
Mm.
And the father was tripping, beat him up because they tried to steal the bike from the father. The father said, we need to ride this bike. He was like, no, I can use this for something. No. Father beat him up, and then the great mother stepped in, right? She was like, look, your village is dying, okay? Y'all not doing nothing. All the praying not working. You got to get a young boy a chance. And what he did was he put it together, right? After reading, put that technology together, and they was able to get the water out the daggone ground from the well that they couldn't pump up out of there, right? And started watering the daggone ground. And guess what? Voila. The plants grew, saved the daggone village. If he'd have stood in that Quran for too long, right? If he'd have been reading too much poetry, the great Levi visitors, the great liberal arts, they would have died. So I
Right.
want
Facts.
y'all, if y'all happen to tune in this, watch that, and you'll see just how important STEM is to the African mind.
Right. And I just want to say this point, Dr. Maya, really quick. So, I don't want people to think that we're saying just science. No, it needs to be a balance. But what we're saying is that we represent very low in STEM.
There you
Like,
go.
the statistics are wild. And so I learned a few things the other night, helping a friend do some homework about who actually, what were the first programmers in this country. It was women. We
Oh
talk
yeah.
about the human calculators and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, women represent like less than 20% of representation in STEM fields, and it's even lower to have PhDs in engineering and things like that. So that's problematic on that note when we talk about the women being our first teachers. Like, again, I don't understand how are you supposed to build a nation without those skills? You can't. Let Haiti, for example, in that canal, right? That took engineers or people with some expertise to build that canal in Haiti, if y'all don't know about that. So they can do better, so they can have better crops, so they can feed themselves. It just wasn't a whole bunch of people in the village to start digging. It takes engineering, it takes expertise, things like that. Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree 1,000% with you. I wanted to play and see if it was more that he had to say. I think it's like maybe
it
a
went
couple of
down.
seconds.
It went downhill. They started talking about the pseudoscience and went nuts.
Hold on,
It
let
got
me
worse.
see.
It definitely got worse.
I just want to see real quick.
until we as a people have the correct ideology and collective agenda. STEM alone will not save us.
Okay.
So the answer is no, it won't help at all. And
It won't help at all.
Yeah, I told you it got worse. They just dropped off the map. Bow.
At all.
just to go back to the off quoted response I got when raising this as an issue at Morgan, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 years ago. Dr. Ball, your problem is you want to create new knowledge. We don't do that here. Your job is to create menial laborers for the communications industry. I'm a theoretical physicist. We don't teach theoretical physics here. We teach what students need to know to run the machines for theoretical physicists, end quote. So STEM, and then to the point of Lonnie Johnson earlier.
That's all we do, brother Ankh, in the School of Engineering is create new knowledge. So I don't know what he's talking about.
STEM will be used to oppress. What happened?
Nah,
go ahead.
my bad.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. That's it. Go
He was
ahead.
about to say STEM oppress black people. It was STEM. That's what he was about to say.
Yeah, that's what he's about to say.
Yeah,
And
but
Geechee,
he cut him off. We shouldn't have dove in on that nonsense. It was all foolery at levels I had no idea intelligent people would actually present. So it's not just it's not just the novice. It's people who are educators that's talking this. That's dangerous right there.
That is
That whole thing they on right now, I would call that stinking thinking. I would absolutely do that. The world, we're in a stage of being challenged by nature. Last time I checked, right, the thing that was created by humans, first in Africa, proper, okay, was the understanding of nature, because that's what science is. Knowledge, wisdom, okay, come through understanding nature. That's basically what that's science, right? So yeah, we teaching scientific literacy right here, and that actually helps you promote your community, understand your civic duties as a Black American. All these things you learn from STEM, man. They supposed to know that, man. This is real wild, Doc. I don't know how they. And then my favorite person on earth is Catherine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, that's my favorite person right there. So you knocking her. I don't know how you gonna knock that sister to work for NASA. 33-year career. Crazy.
Facts.
Audible mechanisms. Mechanic is crazy.
Facts.
Wow.
And I think this is roughly it. I think Geechee's got a call or something, but I'll play just to see on him.
Oh, they start talking about it get wilder. I'm telling you.
Go ahead, man.
No, I'm sorry. I thought I was mute, but I said somebody made Coco mad. But next. Yes.
Okay, so that was it, family. So I mean,
he started talking about needing more holistic stores. I'm telling you, what you mean? They get worse.
Oh Lord, I don't even want to. I guess they can play the rest of that. I really wanted to show the people this because Diallo claims, I know he claims to be a Garveyite or Pan-Africanism, or he's a Pan-Africanist. Well, look what Garvey said, okay? So Garvey said this in 1924 in his Look for Me in the Whirlwind speech, roughly around 1924. He said, there is no height to which you cannot climb without the active intelligence of your own mind. He said, mind creates, and as much as we desire in nature, we can have through the creation of our own minds. As he said, and today, being a scientifically weaker race, he said, you shall treat others only as they treat you, but in your homes and everywhere possible, you must teach the higher development of science to your children. Oh, wait a minute, brother Ankh. Did Garvey advocate for the teaching of science in the homes? And he also said, and make sure that we have a race of scientists par excellence. He says, and he was religious. He says, for in religion, he said, in science lies our only hope to withstand the evil designs of modern materialism. So I just found it odd that these people say, I'm a Pan-Africanist. I follow the teachings of Garvey and all these people. Well, Garvey was saying almost 100 years ago that we are a scientifically weaker race. And he said we need to be cultivating the generation of scientists par excellence. That's what he said. Now, I'm not saying Garvey had it all right. But what I am saying is he did advocate for more scientists. And so for folks to say I'm a Garveyite or I believe in Garvey, and then Garvey saying, we need more scientists, and you're saying forget science, right? So speaking about, there was something Juju said, I think it was either Juju or Miss Tiffany talked about the number of African Americans in STEM, right? And we talked about it being a shortage. These are the statistics for African American scientists and engineers. It says right here, among African American students pursuing bachelor's degrees in STEM, 40% of them changed their major from STEM to non-STEM degrees. All right. And I mean, we can get into why, but I just want to give you the data. It says, according to the U.S. Department of Education, during the 2020-2021 academic years, a total of 437,302 bachelor's degrees were awarded. Approximately 232,000 degrees were awarded to white students. Only 30K was awarded to African American students. Okay. According to the National Science Foundation, as of 2017, African Americans constitute only 4.8% of scientists and engineers working in science. I'm sorry, scientists and engineers actually working in science and engineering occupation. African American males make up 3.2%, and African American females represent 1.6%. So we're not going into STEM. We're not pursuing science degrees or engineering degrees. This is where we're going. Right here, according to African Americans college majors and earnings as of 2016, most of us are going here into law and public policy, psychology and social work, health, business. It says right here in social sciences. Then it gets into computer statistics, mathematics as you go down. But the top majors that we're pursuing right now are law and public policy, psychology and social work, health, and business. And a matter of fact, if you go to college.org, there's a stat out there that says 80% of Black students who go to HBCUs get a business degree. So we're not going into STEM. So for him to say, don't go into STEM, we need more people to say, go into STEM. We need more STEM professionals because we're not going into these areas. And let me share one more slide with you. Let me tell you where we're headed, family. This is what I want to share. And I'll land my plane. Look at this slide right here. How AI is shifting the world of employment.
Right.
Okay. So you talking about, well, we don't need STEM. We don't need. Okay. How AI is shifting the world of employment. Look at this. The future of autonomous delivery initiatives. I tell my students all the time, in the next 5 to 10 years, when you call for Uber, it'll be autonomous driving car that's going to pull up. Delivery services, it'll be autonomous driving vehicles. Look right here. McDonald's unveils first automated location. Social media worried it will cut millions of jobs. Look down the bottom. Drone power washing works smarter and safer. Top right corner. Walmart chases higher profits powered by warehouse robots and automated claws. Down the bottom, Walmart expects 65% of stores to be serviced by automation in 2026. Right now, again, only 4.8% of us are scientists and engineers. So what's going to happen when there's an economy that is based on technology? That's where it's heading right now.
Right.
An economy that's based on technology. So if we don't become the producers of technology, where will this leave the Black community? And I land my plane.
Yeah, we're in a global tech society. It's not just United States, it's the world.
It's the world.
All those things you saw there, they need programmers for the programming of those machines in text to fix the problems, to fix them when they break down. Yeah, we need to be right there competing for those jobs and being able to compete equally. Yeah.
I tell you what's wild, man. There's no evidence that those first Pan-Africans was denying STEM.
Not at all.
Brother Marcus, he routinely tells me this. They had to correct me on some things about that. So you're not even being a real Pan-African.
Pat.
How are you going to build your nation without STEM?
Yeah.
Peace to the panel, Dr. Mayat and the fellow pseudo killers.
What's up, pseudo killer? What's good, official? What's good on?
Oh man, it's all good, man. I had to get in on this. You sent me a little clip, and I had to jump in on this because I think we're getting into this era of foolishness, things that just don't make sense, right? y'all tapped on some good points. I want to just uh, allude to some more about George Washington Carver.
Mhm.
We always talk about him talking to plants and all this type stuff, and I guess it's cool if that's what you into, whatever. But during the time of slavery, they grew what they call heavy feeding plants. So things like cotton and sugar, they take a lot of nutrients out of the ground, and they were facing a crisis at the turn of the century. And so they wanted to find ways to help redevelop land uh, sufficiently so that they can keep high produce. The problem is that they needed methods that you could add value to your product. So this is where STEM comes in, right? You have a social problem going on, the depletion of nutrients in the soil, and you have a scientist in STEM who's addressing it. So what does he do? He creates value-added products with peanuts, right? And so what do peanuts do? Peanuts are legumes. They're a type of plant that adds nitrogen into the soil. And then he said, well, that's not going to be sufficient. We need something that can grow more seasons, through more seasons. So he added sweet potatoes. And he started making value-added products with sweet potato. But all this is STEM based to solve a social problem. And I think that's the part that the guy got wrong, that he thinks that STEM and social problems don't go hand in hand. But in any type of development you want to do, you must first develop the technology to address whatever that social situation is. I want to just leave one quote in. This is from Kwame Nkrumah. They did an article, I think it's 2024. I sent it to you, Juju. I like to make sure everybody see the source. It starts off talking about a speech that Kwame Nkrumah gave at the beginning of the African Union, the first one that he started. The article is from the journal Nature. It says science can drive development and unity in Africa as it does in the US and Europe. And it starts off with a quote from him. It is within the possibility of science and technology to make even the Sahara bloom into a vast field of verdant vegetation. These words, which still hold true today, were spoken by Kwame Nkrumah, educator, political theorist, and first president of Ghana. And we know today that they're still doing the Green Wall in Africa at this very moment. So I think the guy made a lot of foolish statements based on ignorance. And that same logic gets us in trouble all the time. He got a page on Patron asking for money to join his team. That's science and technology. Instagram, that's science and technology. He got what's this? He got a website, a podcast that he ran for 7 years. That's science and technology. And his whole movement is called Creating Revolutionary Media from a Pan-African Perspective, as if you can do that without science and technology. And so I find that extremely strange. And so, this attack on education in the fullest is a serious problem that we have to address and deal with, which is why I appreciate what the pseudo killers do, what y'all doing down there with y'all STEM programs and getting kids acclimated to be able to solve the social problems that we face through technology. So that's all I wanted to share.
Beautiful. That was powerful. That was powerful. He brought out Kwame Nkrumah. That was Kwame Nkrumah. I mean, golly, this is like dagger after dagger after dagger, brother Ankh.
You know how pseudo killers do.
I
Like
know.
they always underestimate us. They think we ain't tapped in to the African continent. They think we ain't tapped into Egypt, to the Nile Valley, West Africa. I can pour articles on the golden ages in West Africa. Most people don't even talk about that they had golden ages. And I consider those civilizations to be classical. You know what I'm saying? So come on, man. This ain't for us, right? Let's work together to understand our mistakes and be man and woman enough to say, I just misspoke on that.
Right.
Yeah, because we're going. We're not stopping. We're going. We're going to keep it moving. Right. And, we haven't even talked about the paper, Doc.
Oh, we got to go live. That's a whole show in and of itself. That's
Tell
a
'em. Go
whole
ahead, tell
show
'em.
in and of
Go
itself.
ahead, go ahead, tell them, Doc.
So brother Ankh and I, we published a paper with the National Society of Black Engineers.
Engineers.
Yes.
I
Oh
be
my
talking
goodness.
about it all the time.
I appreciate it, Sister Juju. Brother
Mhm.
Ark and I, we're going to go live and really talk about it because I want to bring up the paper and and break it down and just talk about the whole process. But the NSBE just established their first journal called Black Excellence in Science and Technology, right? And that's the name of their first journal, and this is their first publication. So we're in the first journal, the first publication of this journal of the National Society of Black Engineers, and I mean that's very, very
That's
significant.
beautiful.
And so I was just pumped up. Ankh and I was going back and forth and talking
Mhm.
about it, and we going through that whole process, and they taking forever to approve it. They sending it back, and it was all we kind of concluded it was a source that was off.
Mm-mm.
And
Right.
so we gonna.
It was a
so
good
since-
fight. We had a
so-
good fight. we had.
Y'all are funny.
We had.
Oh, we was up arguing Sister Juju. It was about
Oh
11
my
o'clock at night.
God.
But I had to eat that humble pie, Sister Juju.
Oh Lord, not
I
you.
said, yeah,
that
I
was
did.
you. Oh
I
my
had to eat
God.
that. I had to eat that humble pie. I said,
Oh,
he was right.
man.
He was right about that. He showed me another source, and I said, well, the source don't say that. That ain't
Oh.
what the source say.
No, you challenged me. You actually was like,
Yeah.
nah, that's weak. That's weak. was
Yeah, I
like,
said, give me another source.
"Ah."
Give me another
I said,
source.
okay, you right, you got me. I said, now I had to roll up my sleeves. God damn, I'm tired of her beating me up all the time. Cause she beat me up. I was like, she be beating me up. I was like, oh man. But you know what Doc always say? It's not about being wrong. It's about what you do after you realize you're wrong.
That part right there.
That's what I learned from her.
Correct.
She's always been that way. You've always heard her say, well, I'm wrong. Where other people just wouldn't say it. That's what get her mad. So I was saying, I know I ain't wrong. I gotta stick, but I gotta be. Hey, Miss Tiff, remember I told you? I said I gotta get this. I gotta.
Yeah, I remember.
Pressing me. And she's saying the source I gave ain't good enough.
That's funny.
So no, she was right. So I had to roll the sleeves up. I was
You
like,
did it. You brought back some sources that was tight. I was like,
Yeah.
I couldn't get around them. I couldn't
You
get
made-
around them.
You made him
Yeah.
upgrade.
Yeah, she made me dig. But that's the process to be able to get into that journal. They wasn't playing.
No, they weren't. They weren't.
No, that one source was like, what was it? I was like, let me see. No, I don't know. You can't, I don't think you can't take that out. Let's see. And we had a good conversation on. We all learned from that discussion. We always learn from our discussions.
Absolutely.
And when that got out of there to say boop boop, we was in. I was like,
we got the acceptance email.
Yep. So that's the challenge, though. And you know what I don't like? I don't like when people say that scientists are evil. That's not true. Scientists are actually for humanity, right? So we need to develop more scientists that can help us develop our humanity. You know, one mistake as a scientist, your career is ruined, man. You know, and I know people like to go back to the days of scientific racism, right? Which is fine. We should stay educated on that. But what overthrew that pseudoscience, because it wasn't science, was actually real science.
Correct.
You know, that work of Charles Darwin,
Right.
and all that stuff. That was the thing that actually turned the tables on scientific racism. Was the rendering of understanding the biology of human beings and how they mutate over time. So yeah, that overthrew the pseudoscience of the day that helped enslave 12 million Africans and killed 6 million Jews. Adolf Hitler and the boys. Remember, he was talking about the master race. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times when our struggles and our fight, we forget that and we become racist. Wildest thing ever. We start placing ideologies on African people that wouldn't never known it. Right? We start becoming the new white people. You know, presenting anachronisms as if the ancient people understood any of what we're talking about.
Right.
Right. So I like to have African agency, but not just African agency. Right. I'm talking about qualified African agency. See, that's the thing. See, they still stuck on, because we black, we need to do it. No, you shouldn't. You should be qualified before you do it.
Facts. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need that
Absolutely.
expertise. You got Kalanji in the chat shouting you out, Bobby Banger.
What's going on?
But his first His first comment was Peace Fam. The name of that show is EYL. It is a show on Black Power Media. I'm a co-owner of Black Power Media, but I don't rock with that. I'm glad you don't, Kalanji.
That's Kalanji. That's my man. Hey,
What
that's
up,
my
fam?
man right
Yeah,
there.
that's
Kalanji.
Kalanji.
Wow. We
Mhm.
got hook up,
Yeah.
Kalanji. You already know it. I ain't seen you in a while. Y'all kind of y'all
Yeah.
ran away from when I started talking about vaccines. Oh my God, yeah. They ran like I had raid, like they approached me and everybody
Not the
spread. He done
raid.
lost his mind. I swear, y'all, like
Mhm.
people really thought I lost my mind. Watch this, because I promoted right high level West African science. You know, I always say that's the greatest invention
Yeah.
known to mankind.
Right.
Hold on. I challenge anybody listening to this program. Find one invention that without that invention, the world would not be where it is today. And I'm saying that's in West Africa, and I'm saying it's called inoculation.
Mm.
Correct.
That's what I'm telling you. Because we're surrounded by trillions of viruses, trillions of them, right?
Mm.
And it was those West Africans, right, that actually brought that forward in the United States. As it goes, Europeans were afraid of smallpox, in fear, and they was wondering why the colony of slaves, why they ain't tripping, and they figured it out that they had something that they brought over with them, right? Was when a person got sick, right? They took a little bit of that pus, right, from
Mhm.
one of them sores. They cut a slit in a healthy person's arm, right? The person got sick for 7-8 days, and if he didn't die, because that's dangerous in itself, right? If he didn't die, now we had immunity to it, to the smallpox, right? And they published it in the Journal of New England. Those findings, Boylston, Harvard doctor, okay, Onesimus, you know, that's the African that kind of gave that, you know, to his slave master.
Right.
And I'm just saying, like, that's one of the greatest things. And so we should never be in fear, right, of white people that much when we think they just gonna stick a needle in us and kill us. That's not how that's gonna work. They just go ahead. Why not just poison the fast food within itself is enough poison to kill the black community.
Put it
You know,
in
the
some
way we eat,
Newport.
the way we move, the way we gang up and shoot each other based off of different colors,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
The way we shun education. So I'm appalled when Black Power movements shun high level science and shun scientific literacy. I'm appalled at it because to be a real revolutionary, right? You got to be able to have technology to avoid the enemy.
Facts.
you
And you
go.
got to live to beat them, right?
Mhm.
You can't be catching all kind of stuff falling out on the quote
On the
unquote
battlefield.
battlefield,
Right.
wherever that may be. You feel me? But
Like the Native American population, they fell out. Smallpox
exactly.
decimated them.
But
Mm.
you know, so we also show disrespect to those who worked hard to get in those places where they can make decisions that can potentially save our lives. I'm speaking of Dr. Kizmikia Corbett, an African American woman, you know, who
Oh,
decided to take that route, who was
Yeah, that
the
sister.
lead scientist on the Moderna vaccination for COVID. That other countries, including Japan, are still acquiring from America because they know that was the best. So it's like every time we push back on these things, we also push back on us, how far we've come, and the ingenuity that we've adhered to and you know put to
what's the
good use.
sister name? What's the sister name that discovered a element?
Oh,
Crazy work.
somebody give it to me. I don't remember it. It
Oh,
was
you forgot the
Phelps.
lady name, man.
It
What's
was
her name?
her last name, Patrice. I think it was Patrice Phelps, and she found the element tennessine on the periodic
Wow.
chart. She doesn't
Right.
even have her. She is a doctoral student, and that
Wow.
was in 2000 or 2019, I believe. Patrice Phelps,
Wow.
if I'm not mistaken with that. And yeah, and that's why I find it fun doing our Galaxy and Beyond because there's so much I learned. You know, I always gotta fight Bobby Binger and them on Pan Africanism, me and Marcus. You feel me? We fight them, right?
I know because I fight them too.
Right. We give agency. So something I learned. I dropped the journal in for the chat, and I've been speaking on this journal for 4,000 weeks. And all people sick. Thank you, Clarice Phelps. People sick of me, but it was amazing article on female scientists in Africa are changing the face of their country. why the article was important is because it gave rise to agencies across the continent that are
Mm.
focused on STEM. And not only is it focused on getting people into those master and PhD programs in STEM fields, but also community engagement to start the
Mm.
babies, to start cultivating them. I can't even use that G word no more because every time you use it has a sinister definition now, but that's what they're doing now. Ames, I also put that in the chat. Ames is one of those organizations, and in the Nature Journal, this I say I got him, Dr. Maya. In the Nature Journal, Ames, which is called the African Institute for Mathematics, is a Pan-African organization. You feel me? I got
Ooh.
him. I got
Hold
him.
up, Juju. Say that one more time. Say that one
It's
more
a it's
time.
a it's a Pan-African organization. Here, let me share my screen so we can look at it together.
Please share it. Please share it. That's another
so,
dagger.
so
Chill
what
came
I'm
with
gonna
a
show y'all
dagger.
first. Maybe
Okay.
I'm gonna show y'all two things. I'm gonna show you the article, and I'm gonna show you where it is in the article. Okay. And I dropped the website for people. I want to find exactly where it said Pan-Africanism in here. It took me a minute before, and I was like, dang, I'm finna lose this. But here it is. If you see right here, it says similarly, the African Institute for Mathematical Science, AIMS, is a Pan-African network of centers that have trained almost 2,500 students in intensive residential mathematics master's programs, with more than 800 going on to get their PhDs.
Wow.
AIMS is led by educationalist Liddy Hakizimana, and its main goals include increasing the continent's number of math students and the representation of women in STEM fields. And 1/3 of its alumni are women. This is in the Journal of Nature. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Y'all see? So even
Yeah,
I'm gonna share,
we read the journal of Nature around here.
we do. So I'm gonna share this one too. Share one more so you can see from the organization itself, right? So we're gonna do some we're gonna confirm. And I dropped these links in the chat again because I thought they were important. You see
They
why
are.
aims.
They absolutely are important.
Just giving up your whole. You better let me see. Make sure you ain't giving up
Oh,
your whole. Oh, that's subscribe.
it's all good. But yeah, because I want, but it I didn't go all into it, but this is the website. I put it in the chat. But why AIMS, the African Institute of Mathematical Science, it's a Pan-African network of centers excellent, enabling Africa's talented students to become innovators, driving the continent's scientific, educational, economic self-sufficiency. A Pan-African network, y'all. So yeah, shout out to the
Yeah.
real Pan-African.
Right. Shout out to the real Pan Africanists.
Shout
And I
out
want
to
to
the real.
and I want to show this because Miss Tiffany made a really, really good point earlier when she was like, Doc, you work, she's like, you teach, you work in the field.
Mhm.
Do you all have ethics? Absolutely. We teach our students, and this is for my freshman students. We teach what we call the IEEE Code of Ethics. So if you look at it, look at this: accept responsibility and making decisions consistent with the safety, health, and welfare of the public, and to disclose promptly factors that might endanger the public or the environment. Avoid real and perceived conflicts of interest whenever possible, and to disclose them to effective parties when they do exist. Be honest and realistic in stating claims or estimates based on available data. Reject bribery in all its forms. Improve the understanding of technology, its appropriate application, and potential consequences. Right? Maintain and improve our technical competence and to undertake technological tasks for others only if qualified, is what I talked about, qualified by training or experience, or after full disclosure or pertinent limitations. Seek, accept, and offer honest criticism of technical work, to acknowledge and correct errors, and to credit properly the contributions of others. Treat fairly all persons, regardless of such factors as race, religion, gender, disability, age, or national origin. Avoid injuring others, their property, reputation, or employment by false or malicious action. And lastly, assist colleagues and coworkers in their professional development and to support them in following this code of ethics. So for them to act like, you know, it's no, we don't have any ethics. I mean, that was bananas. And then even in my program, shout out to Conscious Ingenuity. Even in my program, notice that we talk about building character, confidence, and capabilities through STEAM. If you look at here, build character. Look at this. Character is at the core of human relations. Our goal is to foster high character with our participants, within our participants. Our curriculum includes lessons that focus on character development. The bedrock of the character lessons is Ma'at, guiding principles of moral living. The principles are as follows: truth, justice, harmony, balance, order, reciprocity, and propriety. Okay. So, I mean, we to act as if like you can't, like Unc said earlier, chew gum and walk at the same time is totally bananas. And I land my plane. Sosa, I see that you joined the panel. Peace and love to you, brother Sosa.
Pseudo Killer Official, what's good, bro?
What's good? What's good? Peace, 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 everybody, man. Peace to everybody listening.
Peace.
Yeah, you know, when I'm listening to what they're talking about, to me, like it reeks of white man science, and I'm willing to bet that none of those individuals accept evolution. I'm willing to bet money on that. I'm willing to bet that all of them are anti-vax.
Oh yeah.
Right. And my issue is that from that segment, like that segment seems to have the loudest voice. And I think we need more because like to me, I consider them anti-black, like hands down. I don't care how if they mean well or not, they're anti-black. Anybody that's telling you, that's giving you that type of message is harmful to you and African Americans in general. So I'm thinking like I think we need more Pan-African movements and more Black Power movements who are in the right mindset to be more vocal and be more loud and be more vocal against this type of rhetoric within that community. You know, I think there needs to be like a cleaning house, you know what I mean, to eradicate these type of individuals, because if it doesn't happen, Black Power and Pan-Africanism will be associated with that and the other the primary and foundational thing that it was developed for will be lost. That's my piece.
No, I agree with that 1,000%.
Where the whistle at? Where the bomb at?
Oh, hold on. Look. Unc said, where that bomb at? Hold on. Here we go. Unc. I gotta look. I gotta find it. I'm like, hold on. I mean, it was so many bombs.
Fire!
I like that look.
Funny. But I ain't gonna lie, the pseudo killers came in tonight, you know, sourcing up. You said I got some sources. She said it at the beginning. She said, I got some sources. And y'all came suited and booted. And so I do appreciate you all coming on and addressing this. You know, we can't have this rhetoric promoted, you know, in our community. So I truly appreciate your time, your energy, and your wisdom. Do you all have any closing words for the listening audience?
Man, go ahead. I'm gonna go last. I'll go last.
Yeah, I just want to say, you know what I mean, like you know, we're gonna keep pushing scientific literacy, you know what I mean, because it's important to where we are and where we're trying to get to. And I've seen the things you're doing in Ghana, Dr. Mayat, man, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that. Sister Juju.
Yeah. I just want to say, yeah, live your life to the wheels fall off. Let's start supporting some of these endeavors that are pushing STEAM for our children. You know, I see we support a lot of junk and we're always complaining, right? So let's put our money where our mouths are. So I'm going to put up a challenge. Kalanji, if you're out there, I need Black Power Media to sponsor a child for Dr. Mayat's Conscious Ingenuity Summer Camp. And I'm pushing others to do the same. Sponsor a child so we can get our children. We can get our children right? And we can teach them the history at home or in other community networks. That's what I have to say. And I'll see y'all in May because I'm out of here. Going to Egypt. Aye. Thank you, Dr. Mayat.
Hey, thank you, and safe travels to you, Sister Juju. Safe travels to you. And I appreciate you, sis. You putting it down, and I can't wait. Like I told you, take pictures and post and stay in touch while you're gone. Please make sure that you do that. Please make sure that you do that. Sister Tiffany, Miss Tiffany, where's she at? Miss Tiffany, you there?
Yes, I am. I just want to say in my closing, as you noted earlier, the stats in terms of the amount of our young people or people who are in college studying in STEM, we don't need people discouraging it. We don't even have enough people in there to begin with. So I think that's what I want to say. If you have young people that are on their way to higher learning, encourage them to go into STEM because we have such low numbers, and that is just where our world is going, and we need more of our children in these fields.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to say, just for everyone to understand that things are changing rapidly, and so there will become a time where our common use jobs that we were so dependent on will no longer be there, and so it's better to stay ahead of the curve and encourage everyone to not only you join in some type of STEM education, but have your children focus as well on STEM programs, because technology is going to advance with or without you, and you can easily be left behind. And so, while you may not like it, you will have to come to reckon the same thing that our grandparents had to reckon with, which is online banking.
Mm-hmm.
And so they struggled hard with that. And so my grandmom had grandkids to bring her along. And so she was afforded that opportunity. Everyone won't be. And so you can choose to ignore STEM if you want to, but you will suffer the consequences down the road.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
On point.
Straight. So yeah, Doc, we're gonna sponsor probably a couple kids over there on the pseudo killers
I
for the
appreciate
STEM
that.
thing. Yeah, I mean
Appreciate that.
and it's real. It's not
Oh, I
fake.
know. I
When
know.
you No, I'm saying your thing is real. It's not like when you send your money and go to a spot that never get done.
Right.
We
Right.
got people that's claiming
No, no,
Pan
no, right.
Africanists and they running around here with the colors and I'm gonna build a school, ain't built nothing. And everybody just sit there and watch that mess. I just wanted to say that.
I'm not doing this with you tonight, Unc. I'm not. I'm not
Just
doing
wanted to
this
say
with
it. I
you.
don't understand it. They look the other way. They on these big platforms, and everybody look the other way. Nah, we ain't doing that because the program is real. What you got, and yeah, we're gonna work on that. Get a couple of them, a couple of students in there, and we appreciate your work.
Appreciate
We
that.
appreciate you being a pseudo killer, right? You didn't have to. You everywhere I go, you follow me, Doc.
That's right.
All right, what we doing this? What we doing? We pseudo killers bet. What we doing? I'm Russ Scott bet. What we doing? We in the mud fighting bet. I'll be having to say no, Doc, don't fight. No, stop.
Yeah, he's like, you can't do that. We can't.
Can't do
You
that.
got to
No.
stay clean. You got to stay
Clean.
clean.
Yeah,
You
come
got to
on,
stay
Doc. Stop
clean.
it. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure, Doc.
Oh,
No, but I appreciate you. Appreciate us doing this double podcast like this, man. We got to do this more often. I
absolutely.
appreciate all the pseudo killers that came aboard, man. I see some brothers in the chat, man. That come on, Brass. I can't even remember that. The try. Oh my God, I'm terrible with that. Put it in there,
Try
Brass.
media.
Try media. Yeah.
Innovations.
Try me.
Innovation.
Yeah, try me anyway.
My fault, man. Yeah, man. Shout out to them, DQ and them. They doing their thing, man. And it's just we have to be healthy in our approach to educating African Americans. We are a
Absolutely.
marginalized community. We don't need people to look like us to spread even more lies. It's more dangerous. So we have actually become the enemy in some cases, right? And when the enemy looked just like you, it hurt worse. So I just hurt where that's not even proper language. It hurts more when people look just like you, misinform you with disinformation because it's on purpose at this point. And I just I appreciate the platform. It's a beautiful space to be. And I
Mhm.
appreciate the lovely sisters that's down with the STEM, man. So we got a lot of sisters in the group.
Mhm.
And I appreciate them. It's a safe space for the sisterhood, high level education. And if y'all want to join the server, we can put the emails in there. Y'all can join the server, and intelligent conversation going on most of the time. But it's definitely a safe space for the sisters. Any of the sisters want to speak on that though, real quick?
Miss Tiffany, I think she'll be best to speak on that if you don't mind, sis. Sure, I'll do that. So yeah, yeah, boy. So
That was fun.
we've done our best. First, I'd like to say we talked about on the women's show. Somebody asked, "What do you need from us?" I thought that was an important question. What, as a man, what can we do to help you all, right? And what I said is to listen. And Miss Tiffany or Danielle added another piece to that, and both of those things will help. And I, unfortunately, I can't remember it. That's what was like Miss Tiffany
I
do
said ally, to be an ally.
to be an ally, to listen and to be an ally. Thank you. There she go, right on time. So we've done our, and so one thing I can say about Bobby Banger, Dr. Mayat says
Mhm.
you probably can validate that. Bobby Banger is definitely an ally for women.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Every
Hands
time,
down. Hands down.
hands down, because I know I'm a lot. I know I got men wanting to probably throw punches at me, right? Bobby Bang ain't finna let that happen.
No, no, no. He wouldn't do
Y'all
that.
leave
No, he
her. Y'all
wouldn't.
not finna
Mm-mm.
touch her. Y'all better leave her alone.
Mm.
Let it,
Mm-mm.
So I think that's important. So we've done our best in the Discord because we understand in the YouTube streets. I always tell people if you don't want people to know something or use it against you later, don't let them know, especially things that are personal. Even though some people want to be transparent to help, a lot of
Right.
people on YouTube aren't here to help, aren't here to
No.
get help or any of that, right? So we have to be mindful of where we are and what we do in these spaces. But the Discord is different. So we've put in place measures in
Mm.
order for us to feel safe and secure. Also, the internet, a lot of these platforms are male dominated a lot of time.
That's
So
right.
women tend to get pushed back or dismissed or whatnot.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
in the pseudo killers platform, women will be heard, and that's just simply it. We will be heard. So in the Discord, we set up some parameters. Like when you come in, all we ask is you do it one time. Is that you came up so we can actually meet you and know who we're dealing with, right?
Right.
So we can try to ensure as safe as possible, that space to share ideas, to get people more scientifically engaged and scientific literacy and things like that. So, yeah, what's the Discord link? Hit CO Skeptics Gmail. And there it goes in the chat. So that's all I have to say about that. If Miss Tiffany want to add something.
I actually wanted to add, and I do want to shout
Yeah.
out to Brother Kent. I see you in the chat. Peace and love,
Chill
to you,
Killer
Brother Kent.
Official.
Yes, peace and love to you, Brother Kent. But I did want to just plus one what you were saying, Sister Juju. Brother Ankh has always been an ally, and he's been consistent. He even gave up his
Very,
time. Yeah, he gave up his own
right.
time. This was like in 2014. We were at like a sign at a TV event. He's like, yeah, put Dr. Mott on. Nah, we ain't putting on. And he's like, no. Well, you give up your time. And Uncle said, yeah, I give up my time then. Shoot. And he did, to make sure that I had a chance to be heard. And so one thing I can say about him, that he's been consistent. This is not something that he's, just doing. He's been consistent for years, always making sure that women have a voice. You'll never see Onk surrounded by just nothing but dudes. Now, if he beating some folks up, then yeah, but he always has the females, the sisterhood around him. And he always says that. Yeah, I want the ladies around me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
And
don't know a whole lot of dudes all the time, yo.
he's like, I want the ladies. But let me say something, Unc. But that's what men do. create safe spaces for
Yeah.
your women, children, and elders. That's man shit. That's what
That's
men do. And
absolutely.
that's why you my guy. That's why I love you to pieces. People know that. Love you to pieces, brother Unc, for all that you do.
Well, hell, if not for my mother, I'd have been somewhere in Baltimore. When she put me out, I grew up. You know what I'm saying? Mate, and that was love. I don't know. I don't want to. I don't know if you call it tough love or whatever, but I know how much that woman loved me. Right? You know what I'm saying? I know how much she loved me, how much she cared about me, and for her to do that, I was like, damn, really? Yeah, look me right in my face. Get out. Crazy. She put that crazy work on me. But guess what? I grew up and that's when I became a man. So yeah, my aunts, all them, I just respect black women, man. I'm saying black women, point
Mhm.
blank. And I think that's important. They're the largest marginalized community in the black community. If you think black men are marginalized, black women are marginalized around the world, in America and around the world. So, it's biblical.
Mm,
You know what I'm
mm.
saying? It's biblical at this point. So yeah, man, I think more men should step up to the forefront. And that don't mean just let a woman do anything, she won't say anything. No, it's about
No.
intelligent conversations, but it's about, you know, giving her a voice, man, and speaking, voice her opinions. And I say this all the time, man. Some of the smartest people I know are women. And the pseudo killers went from here to here. The more voice women had, right, the better it got.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It went from having nothing to having something, right? And that's the working together of the males and the females.
I say.
Right, but if you ain't got no females, how the hell can you work with some females? So it's that balance right there. It's that give and take. Is learning how to respect each other thing a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important for us to get our relationships together as men and women when we work in these groups, right? You know how we be loud, and we got to give them they shot at the crown. You know what I'm saying? I think that's important. So yeah, but I don't know about all the chakras though. I don't. I
Here
don't
we
know about
go.
all that.
Here we go.
I'm not doing that. If you're ready to give away, give up the chakras and the superpowers, then I'm with that. Yeah, you know me. I'm not doing it. I'm not
Never.
doing
You
it.
never did the chakras or the crystals. That was your thing.
No,
The
sir.
crystals.
Crystal magic. I'm gonna change the world. I'm a black woman. I got the stop it. It's your mind. Is the power.
All right. So make sure I'm just gonna this is what I want to say, family. Make sure you get your children enrolled in some STEM program. Okay. Whether it's year round, whether it's during the winter break, spring break, or during the summer break. Okay. And one such program you can get your child in is the UACI Summer STEM Camp. This is our 2024 will be our third iteration of the camp. This is a collaborative effort or collaborative initiative between the Uhuru Academy and Conscious Ingenuity. Baba Amin and I have already established the dates, July the 8th through July the 19th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It will be virtual. Okay. It will be virtual. Okay. And we're only taking 30 slots, 30 slots. And so I think Baba Amin already has, look, he got the registration and everything up. So you can head on over to all you have to do is Google UACI Summer STEM Camp in the Google search engine and the website will pop up. Okay. Or you can head on over to ahuruacademy.com, look for the tab, and then register that way. I think Google is simpler, brother Unc. You just Google the name, it pops up. But if you want to go to the Uhuru Academy, ahuruacademy.com, and just go to find a tab, you can. All right. And so, brother Unc, it kind of perplexed me when last summer, I'm sorry, not last summer, during the recording, when they said, you don't get that history. You don't get the history. And I'm sitting here thinking about a paper that Baba Amin and I are getting ready to publish with the American Society for Engineering Education. It's actually under review right now. We'll know if it's going to be accepted by April the 15th. But look at this. Last summer, they learned history and they got, engineering. And so last summer, look at this. And I know this is what you've been talking about for a minute, Unc. The chemistry of the Blombos Cave.
Mhm.
Prehistoric African mathematics. Okay, astronomy and Napta Playa. The genius of Emotep. How George Washington Carver Save the Farm. Hold up. The Physics of Dr. Shikantai Job. Look at this, how Katherine Johnson made it safe to go to space. Okay.
Favorite person. Favorite.
You know, and it says right here how Gladys West gave us GPS. And these are just like catchy titles. But
Real.
look, and then they got cybersecurity, an introduction to IoT devices. We went through some of the cybersecurity concepts, i.e., confidentiality, availability, integrity. All right, that was 1 week. And then the following week, they learned about AI and machine learning. So they got an introduction to AI and machine learning. They learned about data and algorithms, supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and neural networks. So this is the real deal, family. We made sure we sent the children a STEM kit. We also sent them out Google Chromebooks to make sure that they had the equipment. So all they had to do was get internet access to log on. So you got a Google Chromebook, you got a microbit mini computer. They were coding, you know, while they were learning these engineering concepts. Okay, so they had hands-on activities. All right, and this was virtual from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So family, make sure that you get your children enrolled in the UACI Summer STEM Camp. Again, we only have 30 slots. It's 4 instructors, 30 slots, and that's it, because we want to make sure we give each child an intimate learning experience. So we don't want it, Brother Unc, to be 100 children online and 4 people trying to manage that. 30 slots, and that's it. Those are my closing words. Brother Unc, I appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming out. Sister Juju, Miss Tiffany, Brother Chill, Brother Sosa, appreciate you. And everyone under the sound of my voice, I appreciate you, because you could have been somewhere else on these YouTube streets, but you were right here with the pseudo killers and Dr. Ma'at. So I appreciate you all. Have a beautiful Blacktastic weekend. Peace, Black power, Black excellence.